To define civil disobedience, it is the refusal to obey laws that are immoral or unjust, appeals to one's sense of justice, puts an issue on public agenda, draws attention to unjust laws, and is open, public, and nonviolent. Formally, it is the active, professed refusal to obey certain laws, demands, and commands of a government or of an occupying international power. Civil disobedience is a symbolic or ritualistic violation of the law, rather than a rejection of the system as a whole. This concept supports the belief that every individual possesses the ability to act morally or right, and that the government constrains this ability. Many of you have heard of noble acts of civil disobedience, but may not realize it. A few well-known examples consist of Mahatma Gandhi's march in protest against the government monopoly on salt production, the Boston Tea Party, which was started by a group known as the Sons of Liberty, who seized a shipment of tea in protest of the Tea Act and dumped it into the Boston harbor. And lastly, the acclaimed Rosa Parks, refusing to give up her seat on a public bus to a white man, a violation of the city's racial segregation laws. All of these defiant acts broke laws and are inspiring examples of civil disobedience. Disobedience is the true foundation of liberty. The obedient must be slaves. Those are the words of Henry David Thoreau, a 19th-century American philosopher and political activist. He became known for his beliefs in transcendentalism and civil disobedience. His philosophical and naturalist writings, Walden, Civil Disobedience, and numerous others, are remembered and used throughout history and today. During the essay Civil Disobedience, he outlines when people should and should not obey their government. In general, he argued, governments do much more harm than good and constrain the ability of the individual to act morally. He believed individuals should remain mindful of the distinction between what is lawful and what is right. The more governments govern, the more risk they run of committing injustices, and therefore forcing their citizens to commit injustices themselves. To explain it in simpler words, imagine a classroom full of children. The teacher in charge is instructed by the school board to teach the students that the world is flat. The teacher has to decide, does she obey the school board and mislead her students, or does she disobey them and teach her children what she knows to be true? Thoreau would say the choice is obvious. After all, the teacher is there to spread the truth, to educate. If the school board obstructs the teacher's duty to her class, then according to Thoreau, she is obliged to disobey them, even if this means risking getting punished by her superiors. In Thoreau's eyes, if the teacher decides to obey the school board, she will become implicitly responsible for misleading her students. The difference between teaching the curriculum and teaching the truth in this scenario mirrors doing what is right and doing what is lawful. The end.